Welcome to Arcturian Philosophy, and this is my rant episode. The great grandmother horned owl. So many of you claim her. It's kind of like NWA. I think someone ought to find this funny. No, it's my city, it's just my city they claim. Oh, they're trying to be like me. I met grandmother. I don't call her the Great Horned Owl because this is very personal with me. You guys don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. You're so new with this. You got slapped over the head at the end of August with Agenda 21, August 21st. Just slapped in the head with this stuff. Couldn't resist any of it. Had no kind of mental defense or concept of what to do because you wouldn't listen to us, quote, quote, crazy people about what to do. So you didn't know what the hell to do. And now, oh, I see all of you who get into the shamanic type stuff or the magical type stuff. Oh, we're going to Great Horned Owl. That is so big in the satanic thing, even more so than crows and ravens, even though crows and ravens are very powerful for the same kinds of purposes. So if you have a crow or a raven, don't feel like inferior. That's a very powerful animal to have. But no animal is more superior or inferior. They'll tell you that. But you guys making your little owl figurines and this and that and the other and whatever the fuck, you do not even know what you are doing. I have this owl as one of my primary animals. I have two primary animals. One is a red-tailed hawk. Most people will know that one is more my main one most of the time. The other one is the great horned owl. If you compare, you'll see that yes, I do act like the red-tailed hawk most of the time. That's because I wasn't really so willing to start using the abilities that I could see that the great horned owl had. I could see that she had abilities to just completely confuse people, to kind of do a strange mind wipe of, like, these are not the drones you're looking for. I would call it Jedi mind tricks. Whatever that she could do, I would call it Jedi mind tricks back in 2008. So 6 years ago. I've got 6 years on you guys, just got slapped in the damn head. So if you've been in this tradition for far longer, okay, this is not for you. I am yelling at the kids, the people my age, and the people older than me, all of you who got knocked in the head 2 months ago, don't know up from down, and are going oh, I love the great horned owl. You don't know grandmother. You wouldn't know grandmother if she smacked you in the face. And she does that kind of thing sometimes. But you wouldn't know grandmother. She smacked you in the face. I had more than one owl. I had also the Siberian eagle owl, which looks just like the great horned owl, except it's white with red eyes. Kind of scary looking. And she's far scarier, honestly, to talk to, I think. And she came to me and told me I have to teach you about blood, bone, hair, attacks of insanity, all these different types of psychological attacks, because that's where the owls will reign, in a kind of psychological plane. And I've always known that's where I reign, in the mental plane. So I know that I can make people go nuts if I actually attempted to do it, that I could create that. But I've never wanted to. Thinking like an Arcturian, why would someone want to do that? But I'm pissed off at you guys. Like, straight up pissed off. I mean, oh, great horned owl. You do not know grandmother. You do not know her at all. Grandmother, the great horned owl has a concept, not of right and wrong, but of constructs. I asked her so many times, are you evil? So she finally came up with an answer other than this does not pertain to us. She would keep saying good and evil does not pertain to us. And so I would say, okay, well, you're not evil. But I mean, look at this. Can you tell me about this? And so what she would say is she would explain, we understand that you live in a construct where there's a thing called good and a thing called evil, and these things balance. That is why we balance with the red-tailed hawk so frequently. That's why those two will pair up. They pair up specifically in a shamanic combination. And that's when you've got that kind of combination, red-tailed hawk, great horned owl, that means you've got it for life, and it's a very powerful combination. As we can see, because I'm still standing, and none of you guys are, apparently. Meaning mentally that you were psychically attacked and can't control what you're doing, but I can. For the most part, you would think is not suggested. At least I don't have blaring voices in my head like you guys do that you can't control. I literally told them to leave. I kicked them out. So having an owl like that is very much an advantage, but I'm pissed off. Like, you guys, what you do is you don't go and say, oh, I wanted great horned owl. No, you do a real journey. You do a real meditation, ask for your real spirit animal. It could be a freaking walrus. If it's a walrus, then it's a walrus. Great. It's great, awesome. It might be a dolphin. It might be a tiger. It might be a panther. They can shapeshift just like owls can. It might be a raven or a crow. They also have just about the same abilities as owls do, and everyone neglects them. Which is funny that I'm saying that, because all hawks just hate crows and ravens, because they bother the hawk for no apparent reason, and so the hawk just gets pissed off at them because you're bothering me for no apparent reason. They like to just mess around, screw around with you. So the hawk gets pissed off at that kind of thing. But whatever kind of animal you have, maybe it's a raccoon, where you're good at sneaking in and out of places with a mask. Maybe it's a snake. Oh, that'd be fun. Maybe it's a cobra or a python. Maybe it's one of the raptors. Maybe it's a peregrine falcon, a hawk, a Harris hawk, a red-tailed hawk. One of the different raptors. Maybe it's a golden eagle. And you're gonna figure out, oh my God, I've got myself into this, but I have a golden eagle, the most spiritual and revered bird among the Native Americans, even though second to that, you could definitely say red-tailed hawk would be second to that. In the way that different tribes, this is kind of a composite of all the different tribes, you could say, that I'm averaging out. They would place a lot of emphasis on the golden eagle, but then also place extreme emphasis on the red-tailed hawk, but more emphasis on the golden eagle, because they would make the feathers. Using the feathers, make different headdresses or different ornaments with those feathers because of the power that they were thought to hold. Maybe you're gonna realize, oh, hey, I'm on the wrong damn side of this stuff, and this animal, my real animal, is teaching me what to do, and it's teaching me how to survive, and it's teaching me what I need to do. Oh, I shouldn't go lusting after this great horned owl. Maybe okay, so what? I don't have it. So what? Or maybe you do. Cool. Maybe you don't. Okay, figure out the real one. My main animal is the red-tailed hawk. If someone were to ask me, you pick one animal that you can say is your, quote, spirit animal, I say the red-tailed hawk. But right up behind him, the red-tailed hawk will sit on this shoulder if they do that, and the great horned owl will sit on the opposite shoulder. And it's a concept of balancing. So it's not that one is above the other, it's just that they'll tell me you sense the one more than the other because you met this one first and then you met the other one second. But the idea is to bring them into a kind of a balance. And we're starting to do that. I told somebody in a certain country that's not this one, do you understand that if I actually began to lie and act like you guys do, that's when I would truly become dangerous. Owls are considered dangerous. And it's because of what they're capable of doing. They're capable of some very, very, very scary things. Mostly involving tricks of the mind. But, they're scary. But they also, the great horned owl, specifically, is the only owl known to have ever killed a human. Because it stumbled into its territory, and the owl didn't understand that it was just a confused human, and it ended up killing it. Yeah, an owl swooping down, and I mean, I can't even show you the height of these birds. This thing's huge, and swoop down, ends up killing someone. She's quite fierce when she's in a fight, very fierce. But then when she's not in a fight, she's very calm, doesn't talk very much at all. The red-tailed hawk, however, will tell you things very bluntly. Now you might be wondering, okay, well, how do I find out what my real spirit animal is? There are many different ways to do this, but the way that I was taught to do this was, if you have another person there, have them do this. Take something that makes a shaking sound. You can take a matchbox, that's all you got. Anything that makes a shaking or rattle sound, or a baby rattle, and anything that makes a rattle type sound, or a drum works too. Just anything that you can make a beat with. You can tap the table or something. Make a steady beat. Have the person make a steady beat for you. It doesn't have to be anything special. It can be or we can clap this. This is probably more the tempo that you want, a nice slow tempo. But the idea is that it's regular. Da, 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 a slow, regular beat. This helps. Think binaural beats. This helps you with the entire concept of doing it in general. So then after that, before this, you will have wanted to think of a doorway of some type. It doesn't have to be four corners. It can be round. It can be something that is astral. Because, like, for me, the door that I picked was something that I saw when I took Ibogaine. And, oh, it works. It definitely works. You don't have to literally pick something that you can touch to imagine here as a doorway. All you're doing is you're imagining something that's special to you that's like a doorway into another world or another place. And you're thinking of the, quote, lower world, or wherever the spirit animals dwell. And that's where you're wanting to go to, and you're wanting to go down. So you imagine yourself with your eyes closed as your friend makes a nice, steady beat for you, and they time it at 15 minutes. Tell them, time this at 15 minutes, and then to stop, what the person does is, that's your cue of, oh, okay, I have to leave now. It's been 15 minutes. It's hard for people to do the first time, so it's best if you have another person there with you to do it. And so you imagine going through your type of doorway. It can be a hole in a tree. It can be a literal door in your closet. It can be whatever. It could be a picture. It could anything that you can imagine that you're gonna go through. A hole in the ground, a pipe, anything that you're going to go through that is somehow holds significance to you. You can imagine very strongly in detail. And so you go through this. You go through this doorway, and then once you've walked through it, or crawled through it, or whatever through it, you simply think to yourself, I want to go down. And then you will find yourself going down in some fashion. Most people find themselves digging through the earth. I found myself swimming down through an ocean, though, because I used a portal as my doorway. A portal that I had seen. I didn't know it was a portal at the time. I didn't know what I was seeing at the time. But a portal that I saw appear when I had first taken Ibogaine. And so I was immersed into this vast, floating, kind of weightless environment. And I thought, I need to go down. And so the impulse was swim. and I did not know anything about people swimming down or anything like that. It's digging, or the most common thing apparently is going to be digging. And so you just keep on digging down, or swimming, or whatever it is, just you think down, and then whatever mechanism you're told to use to go down with, whatever the heck it is, you do that, and you keep going down. Then you'll have a feeling at some point that you've gotten to your destination. Some of you will have very distinct visions of it. You'll see it. You won't have to have the feeling, because you'll see, oh, I see stuff here now, finally. I know I've got somewhere. Some people will just have they'll see blackness and have a feeling of, okay, I'm finished going down. Now what? So whenever you get to, I'm finished going down, now what? Some people will know I'm done because you see an actual scene, and then some people you're going to know you're done because you just see black. You just see black, but you have a feeling of, okay, hey, I think I'm done. Okay, now what? So then after that, now what? You just wait whatever the scene is. If it's just black, that's fine too. That's perfectly normal. If it's just a blackness, the best thing for you to do is ask, will you, my spirit animal, please come to me? If you see a scene, look around the scene, because usually you're going to be in the environment of the animal. The environment that the animal would pick to live in, often that's where you're going to be if you see a scene. But either way, you ask for the animal to come to you. If an animal comes to you, then what you do is ask it, are you my spirit animal? Now, one great example was given when a girl asked a monkey this, and the monkey said, maybe. And she said she was confused over this and asked the shaman, what is this? And he said, oh, that's just how monkeys talk. That meant yes. That meant yes. So the personalities of the different animals can be confusing in their answers a little bit. If it's a trickster type animal and you ask, are you my spirit animal? It might give you a trickster type answer. But usually you can tell from a feeling if it's trying to just mess around with you, play a trick on you. Crows, ravens, and monkeys will be the ones that will tend to do this a lot. What I saw is I came out into a meadow, and I saw a bird flying around in a circle, and I had already known, I already knew going into it, that it was the red-tailed hawk. I already actually knew that, because I'd been obsessed with red-tailed hawks from the age of 8, for no apparent reason. And I knew this, okay, that had to be why, probably. And it turned out that I was right, but I thought, this has to be weird, and it has to be just wrong, weird something, because I've just liked these birds since I was young. And what I was told was, no, you liked them because I'm your animal. That's why you like them. And then, though, what really convinced me finally was he started to explain different things and saying, people are going to tell you that I'm going to leave or change, but that's not with me, it's not like that. I chose you from birth. And any website you read about the red-tailed hawk, yeah, it will say it chooses you from birth. And I did not know any of that. And so when I saw that, I thought, oh my gosh. I asked, why am I in San Francisco, which I'm not there anymore? And he said, it's for your training. That was 6 years ago. When you get to the, extraterrestrial stuff, it almost starts to feel like the old shamanic traditions become obsolete a little bit, because the spirits don't understand they're you, or that kind of thing. Either way, you guys, okay, so that's how you get your animal, but you guys with the great horned owl thing, like, if it's actually your animal and you've known that for more than 6 years, okay, I'm not talking to you. But if you're just saying, oh, I love a great horned owl, oh yeah, that's my animal, because I don't have any idea how to actually figure out what my animal is, or actually work with my real animal, or group of animals, because for me there's two. that are constantly there. Um, and also, hey guy from Red Pill Philosophy, I'm going to yell at Red Pill Philosophy right now because I'm Arcturian Philosophy. And Red Pill Philosophy guy kind of goes around and rants about different things like this because philosophers, we do that. But I thought, I'll try and, tweet this person. And it turns out to be a Russian chick with red hair. Yeah, Chris from Red Pill Philosophy. Way to New World Order yourself. Anyway, all the people obsessed with the owls, or the Siberian eagle owl we'd have for the people in the East. Yes, she came to me. I don't have anything to really call her. I just call her Miss Siberia because I asked her, would you have anything you prefer to be called? And she just said, no, not really, not just whatever suits you the best, whatever you think up. And so I just thought, I'm going to call you Miss Siberia because she would remind me very much of Siberia, and I'd always see a huge scene of snow everywhere whenever talking with her. And unlike the great horned owl, she's far more cutthroat. The great horned owl is not nearly as cutthroat as that owl. Or I would say the great horned owl is not nearly as cutthroat as the Siberian eagle owl. When they come into contact with each other, they will actually often not really fight so much because they're like sister birds. The owls will fight each other or eat each other normally in nature, but those two, they're like equal opposing opposites. You've got one that's white with red eyes, brown with yellow eyes, same size, same ferocity. The great horned owl is the only owl that has ever killed a human before. But when I read that, I said the reason it's the only owl that's ever killed a human is because where the other one lives, the Siberian eagle owl, no humans live. So there would be no confused human to walk into its path and get, murdered somehow. But that Siberian eagle owl could very easily kill a person. Just there are no people around where it lives for it to get confused. Those owls take down wolves. They take down elk. They take down huge prey. The power that they have, mostly in the talons, and the swiftness, the ability to soundlessly go in their flight. It gives them such a strong advantage, and so I actually call the great horned owl grandmother, and I've done that for like 6 years, practically ever since I met her, because it's like a grandmother. And she sort of said to me, "You're gonna call me by a respectful name." So if you do, yes, have this animal, great. What I've noticed, though, is that if you have that animal and another person has the same animal, the great horned owl does have the semblance of a construct that if you get the good and the evil out of balance, that life sucks. And the idea of these animals is to help your life. The great horned owl wants to help you live. So yeah, it's got the beyond good and evil concept down. But the great horned owl, she also sees that, okay, you guys live in a duality construct. If the evil part gets a little bit too out of range here, if it has free reign, this places you out of balance. So is it evil? Is it wrong? She would say, no, we have no concept of this. We are beyond this. Why are you asking me about this? But what she would say is, what I see is that the balance has become very overthrown in one direction, and this is not good for your survival or your species. That is what the great horned owl would say. And I would know what grandmother would say. Usually she says like nothing. Usually she never talks. But all you guys just, oh, I'm suddenly mind fucked. and now I love owls. Well, 2008, I met these owls myself without having any of the mind fuck going on, and actually listened to the stuff, actually learned some of it, and look at me. I am sitting here, I survived the whole onslaught of it, and you guys are half confused in your owl mania. So, if you actually have grandmother great horned owl, great, but if you're just sort of trying to be like everybody else, the red-tailed hawk, which is, I will always say, my main animal, the number one guy who I would always count on, the red-tailed hawk would say, find your real animal and work with them. They're wanting to help you. It could be whatever it is, a walrus, a snake, a wolf, a goose, whatever it is, a platypus, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, that animal is going to be able to teach you its particular abilities. And also you might have a system set up where, the kind of a system that would set up where you're not really fixed with a particular animal. You see, with me, with the red-tailed hawk, that animal chooses you from birth. If you have a red-tailed hawk as a primary type of animal, then you're going to have it for the rest of your life, and Native Americans will tell you that. And it often pairs with the great horned owl because they have to balance each other out. It's like yin and yang. You've got red-tailed hawk as major light, and the great horned owl is major dark. And they pair with each other to create that balance with each other so that the hawk can become a little bit more subtle and the owl can become a little bit less crazy. And they complement each other, and they learn different things from each other. So you place so much emphasis on the owl also, but the idea is the owl will always pair with a grounder. If a grounding animal, meaning like a hawk, a wolf, a teaching animal, a grounding kind of animal, an animal that says, hey, stop being so crazy. Whoa, okay, you're going a little bit too far on this whole beyond good and evil stuff. All right, let's cool it down. That's the purpose of pairing a hawk with an owl. Red-tailed hawk, great horned owl, they pair all the time, just for that reason that I said. So, say you do have an owl, and you've identified it in a kind of meditation or journey, and you're working with her. But if you're just doing that, you see, I made this mistake with the red-tailed hawk. If you're not looking for the other complementary animal, or you know that there's another one there, but you're not talking with them, say you have a owl as your main animal, but you also know that a wolf is around you, but you're not paying attention to the wolf. You're making a huge mistake by doing that. Huge, huge mistake. Everybody that I have actually met with a primary owl has been completely nuts. That's what I've noticed. And also I've noticed that they don't. You guys don't get to your grounding kind of animals so fast. So you end up doing crazy shit. Now, there are some people that could be wondering, how do I find my spirit animal? There are lots of ways to do this. The way I was taught is you have a person make a slow and steady beat. The person can clap, shake a shaker, beat a drum, anything, whatever. Burn incense with it, do whatever you want to do. Then you have picked in your mind a doorway, a type of portal, you could say, where when you walk through it, whatever it is, it could be a hole in a tree, it could be a door to your closet, it could be your picture on the wall. Like thinking astral projection, where you enter into a picture. It could be anything that you're going to think of. I'm going to go through this thing into another place or another dimension kind of concept. Okay? So then you do that. After you do that, then you think to yourself, I want to go down. You might not see anything, you might not sense anything, but many people, when they say I want to go down, they'll sense digging through the earth. I ended up swimming down through an ocean. But either way, you'll end up going down somehow, and you keep on following this down feeling until you get a feeling of, oh, I think I'm done. Sometimes you'll know you're done because you suddenly see a scene there. Other times you'll know you're done because you see a blackness, but you just kind of feel like you're done. After that happens, if you see a scene, observe the scene, and you're probably in the habitat of the animal. Ask for your spirit animal to come to you, no matter what it looks like. It could look like black. A lot of people get this blackness. I see intricate scenery, but many people just see blackness, and that's totally fine. So you ask for your spirit animal to kind of come to you, and if you see blackness, you might sense that you're in a cave. I hear that a lot, that people sense themselves being in a cave if they see this blackness. So if an animal approaches you, you ask it, are you my spirit animal? And it might give a sarcastic response if it's that kind of animal, like a crow, a raven, or a monkey. Like one girl asked a monkey, are you my spirit animal, when it approached her, and he said, oh, maybe, like that, because monkeys are that way. And she was confused, so she asked the instructor, and the shaman said, oh, that's just how monkeys are. So take that into account, particularly monkeys and the crows. The ravens, I doubt, would actually give really stupid answers like that, but crows are liable to do things like that to you because they mess around with people. So you ask, are you my spirit animal? Then after that, usually it's going to be yes. That's why I'm here. That's why I showed up. And then they may want you to follow them. They may instruct you to do things. Just do whatever with them. Have your friend who is making some kind of sound, a slow, steady beat, or a drum, or a shaker, anything. Anything. You could do anything. You clap. It doesn't matter. The idea is slow and steady beat. They time this for 15 minutes. Your first time trying to do this. Then at the end, after 15 minutes, they do this. And then continue with the slow beat. The da-da-da is your signal. Oh, it's been 15 minutes, and I'm in here with my spirit animal. I have to go. So you've been talking with your spirit animal. This is hard to remember, so try to write it down immediately after you come out of it, if you have an experience of that nature. So then after that, what you do is you go back in exactly the same way you came, whatever it was. So for me, if it was swimming in a certain direction, I swim backwards the other direction. Digging through the earth, you dig back up through the earth. If you dig down, dig back up. Literally imagine this exactly as you came, and then imagine coming back into your body. Because you're lying down, you imagine floating out of your body, and imagine this whatever doorway that you've thought of in your life that you can imagine very intricately that you're going through. Now you're imagining it all backwards. Okay, I'm coming into my body again. Okay, and I'm going to breathe and get up. So that's how I was taught how do you find a spirit animal. But you can do this so many different ways. It's not even funny. That just happens to be how I learned it. Who the person who taught me, how they happened to know, and how they were taught. It was at a workshop at Burning Man. That was where that technique was taught, was Burning Man. So there is some credibility behind it. I know that because it was a Burning Man. And that's where it was learned by that person who taught me. So please find your real spirit animals rather than being obsessed with the great horned owl, because having the great horned owl is very rare. So I know you all are obsessed with her and everything, but the majority of you do not have the great horned owl, and it just flat out pisses me off that you're acting like you do. Like, Compton's in the house. Oh, this is my city. It's my city. You claim these people trying to be like me. There's a song, one of the NWA songs, because I'm from Los Angeles, next to Compton, very close to Compton, next to it, not from Compton, but nearby. From Torrance Studio, Torrance, yeah. And it's kind of like that in this one song. Oh, these people talking that crazy shit. You know, they're saying they're from the CPT, which means Compton. You know, these people trying to be like me, and the police, they know I'm from the CPT. oh, fuck those police, they're afraid of me. Which I think is funny because it's kind of true. It is literally true. Here now, finally, which is good because I have to attempt to handle the police. Literally, that's how it will be phrased to me, handling the police. But in general, guys, yeah, the idea. Stop doing that stupid stuff with like worshiping the great horned owl and having no idea who grandmother really is. I've had 6 years to know grandmother. That's why I call her grandmother and not great horned owl or something. Yeah, she specifically told me grandmother. In the Native American traditions, they'll tell you, yeah, it's like a grandmother great horned owl is what we'll say sometimes. Now, there are lots of different ways that they do this because there are so many tribes, but the people, I met one of these women who ended up getting hacked into, but the idea is, oh, you can say you're Native American blood, but if you're well, not this, but if your matrix, if your grid system has been hacked into and you can't think for yourself, then that does you no good, right? Yeah, it's irrelevant. So please find your real animal so that I can stop seeing this owl mania when I know that the majority of you do not have great horned owls. And I know that because I do. And you guys know that I do, because I'm still standing and you're not. So, it's not that, oh, I need to get a great horned owl. No, it's I need to find my real animal for me right now. And it's going to teach me what I need to know. The way this girl here is doing everything is she's realizing, okay, this has happened for a reason. I had this happen for this reason. I had this happen, but now I have the opportunity to do this instead. I can react in a different way. I can change how I decide to think. I can change what I decide to do. I can change what I put into my body. I can have to change what I eat. I can change these different factors. Your animal's waiting to teach you this. They're waiting to show you these things. The person, the catalyst, for me, the real catalyst, her animal was a stingray. And you might think, oh, stingray? But see, this person, they were a star seed. They were born knowing they were from another planet. I think it's Pleiadian. They got hacked into. They got attacked very early, but then completely hacked into pretty much. I did not really know. Things were pretty much fine while they were with me because I act as like instant antivirus software around people a lot of the time, depending on the strength of whatever possessing entity is in there. And she ended up becoming highly programmed, but during the times where I knew her, it was her who would grab things and say, Krista, this is yours to wear. She grabbed my little, my black robe, that's my being provider getup. She grabbed that off the side of the road and said, this I know this is meant for you to wear. She was right. She said to me, Krista, I know one day you're going to be a great shaman or something. You're going to be a great shaman or healer or something. And look at this. I'm the only person who has survived the onslaught of the New World Order in the Silicon Valley, practically. I know there are others, but they're making it very hard for us to communicate. And I'm willing to bet that most of us are in situations where we've become completely dependent on the system. So that it's very hard for us to find the others in the system. Or the ones that have mobility seem to be strung out. If you're strung out, you're on a leash, and you're mentally already screwed up enough to be half left alone. So, it's a little bit tricky, I've noticed. But most of the people that I see that have the strongest abilities are either the most mind-fucked by the programming, or they're on the most amount of drugs, because we got programmed into wanting to use drugs to try and numb out the pain that we were being subjected to. that we did not know was artificial, that was being targeted at us because of entities seeing our auras and things, and seeing what we were here to do and all that. And see, that ringing is not coincidental. It corresponds, this will happen, it will correspond exactly to when I'm talking, because of the energy being so heavy in this area now because of what happened. See, that rang on heavy energy C, and it's as if you could say, I know who it is, and you could basically say they're agreeing with me. I suppose I'll find out. Let's check this out.